arcs to rising phenoms, the story to Super Bowl 60 couldn't have been written more poetically. A young star ready to cement his legacy versus a veteran on a mission to rewrite his story. Two quarterbacks with everything to play for, but who seizes the spotlight? To dig deeper into what's on the line, we welcome in CBS Sports NFL analyst Emory Hunt and Will Brinson. And in less than a week, Super Bowl 60 will crown a new champion and a quarterback earning his first ever Lombardi. But for one of them, that moment couldn't have arrived far earlier than expected than 2024's third overall pick, Drake Maye. But listen, fellas, if we're going to be honest with each other here, Maye's numbers in the postseason haven't been nearly as impressive as what we've seen during the regular season. But I'm not making the comparisons, fellas. But if you recall, early Brady was carried by his defense en route to his first title. So, Emory, if you would kick us off, what would winning the Super Bowl mean for Drake Maye, especially just considering his dip in production that we saw in the postseason?
It showed you he did enough in the regular season, Kiana and Will, that helped them get to this point. So you can look at his situation a little bit different than you would Tom Brady, who jumped in the mix after Mo Lewis really just knocked the insides out of Drew Bledsoe on that sideline, and Brady had to step in and was truly being carried. Now in the playoffs, to your point, Kiana, he is being carried by this defense. So I would say if he is able to play well in this particular game, like Brady did in his Super Bowl, I think this puts him on a path of doing what Brady did, not to the tune of 6 championships or something like that, but at least he's on the right track. But I do think his regular season set him up nice to where he's going to get a lot more runway to where, we was talking about Brady being a game manager 3 Super Bowls in, and then he finally got his respect. So I feel like Drake Maye plays great in this one because of what he did in the regular season. He won't have to deal with that.
Yeah, it's still not out of the realm of possibility that Drake Maye wins the MVP. I think Matthew Stafford will win it, and rightfully so. But Drake Maye could win the MVP and then go win the Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden, you do have to pause and say, like, wow, where can this go? He is that talented. I mean, I've watched the kid play for a long time, played for my hated rival for the UNC Tar Heels. There are a lot of kids wearing Drake Maye jerseys around Raleigh and Charlotte right now. He is, like, if he wins a Super Bowl, it will sort of do, at least in this area, and like maybe beyond, a little bit like what Patrick Mahomes did when he won his first one, right? And he started to have a lot of like non-Patriots fans root for the Patriots. I will say though, let's not, the other youngest quarterback to make the Super Bowl, Dan Marino, never made it back. So like it's one of those things. We think Drake Maye will be back, but you can't take it for granted.
Can't take it for granted. It can go a number of ways, but I do want to move this along because speaking of arriving earlier than expected, can't we say the same thing kind of goes for the Pats head coach Mike Vrabel, who in less than a season has taken New England from reset mode to the doorstep of a Super Bowl. But should he win on Sunday, he will be the first person to win both a Super Bowl as a player and a head coach for the same franchise. So, Will, I'm spinning this back to you. What would a Super Bowl win mean for Mike Vrabel in his first year and with this specific franchise?
Well, I guess it depends on if Mike Vrabel is willing to live up to what he said he would do if he won a Super Bowl, which if you don't know, Google it. This is a family program. I'm not going to mention it. This would, if Mike Vrabel wins a Super Bowl in his first year with the Patriots, and then you kind of go back and look at what he did with the Titans with Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, a defense that didn't have any like true superstars at the time. He had them as the number 1 seed in the AFC, in a loaded AFC. So I think it just speaks, if he wins a Super Bowl, it puts him in a place where you don't really know what the upside for Mike Vrabel is as a coach, because he has that quarterback in Drake Maye who looks like a franchise signal caller and has already put together a lot of really good pieces on this Patriots team in just a year. So you don't want to make the Belichick-Brady comparisons, but it's kind of hard not to when it's the same franchise, a young superstar quarterback, and a coach who we all believe is a great schematic and motivational guy.
I love that graphic we just put up because he could easily be George Seifert if he gets this win like Seifert did right after Bill Walsh got his win in the Super Bowl, but he didn't go back and win again. And I think that's where you look at, where Mike Vrabel is. You saw what he did in Tennessee and was like, wow, they really got to the AFC Championship game. and it would be validation for him that he is a very good coach. I still feel like because he's a little bit unorthodox, we still see him as a guy that plays defense, that's catching touchdowns from Tom Brady. We don't give him that same kind of lens. We don't view him through that lens that we view coaches. That we still view him as a player. And so this will just validate his experience as a head football coach in Tennessee, and it will validate what he has done with this football team in year one in terms of not only attacking the offseason with free agency, but strategic in drafting players that fit their system, embodying, empowering Drake May, and letting those guys play really well, and also embodying and empowering Ramondre Stevenson and having him just forget how to fumble like he used to. So this is just a great coaching job, and a win would definitely validate that.
Absolutely, and the stakes for the Patriots go far beyond just another Super Bowl appearance. I mean, this is the franchise's first trip to the big game since, well, I feel like you guys know the end of that one era, the Brady era. And just like that, they're back competing at the highest level of this game. So, Emory, I mean, what will winning the Super Bowl mean for this Patriots franchise just, a mere decade after losing the greatest of all time?
It's so unique when we talk about the Patriots, because when we were talking about NFL dynasties, you bring up the Patriots last. To be honest, we're talking about the Steelers, we're talking about the Packers, we're talking about Kansas City, and we'll mention the Patriots, but we'll mention them in the context of Brady. But this team, this is their 12th Super Bowl appearance. They had two appearances outside of Brady, the 96 year where they lost to Packers, and 85 where they got smoked by the Bears. And hell, in 1963, they were in the AFL championship game. They lost that game too. So they've been a consistent winner throughout their franchise. Now, for our age group, we kind of remember them stinking in the 80s and early 90s. And then this new group of Patriots fans, once they changed the logo, changed the helmet, changed the colors, now they all they know is success. But this is a very good franchise over the course of its history, from the Boston Patriots to right now New England. So a win would give them their 7th championship in their 12th appearance. This is just crazy of a run that the Patriots franchise is on.
I'm just sitting here getting annoyed at the idea of like the Patriots kickstarting another dynasty, like less than a day. I mean, the thing, Patriots fans got everything you could ever ask for in a lifetime of being a football fan with Tom Brady and the run that he and Bill Belichick had in New England. And now they might get a second one with Drake May and Mike Vrabel. Like, it's crazy to think about. I do think it would bolster, Emory, we talked about in a previous segment about, Robert Kraft getting in the Hall of Fame and all of that. I mean, I tend to agree with what Emory said about owners getting in, but I think if you had another quarterback and another coach who go out and win the Super Bowl for the Patriots and sort of kickstart this great run in New England again, it only bolsters ownership in the way that that franchise is viewed, because all of the success has come under the Kraft family since they bought the team.
You're talking about kickstarting and starting another run. It just makes me feel bad for some other franchises, maybe like their division rival. I'm thinking about the Jets. I'm sorry, Jets fans. That's got to sting right there. But, guys, we've talked plenty about the Patriots, but I do want to talk about the turbulent ride it has been for Sam Darnold. His career has taken just every turn imaginable, from a top pick to a backup to a castaway. Now, a Super Bowl signal caller. Will, given everything he's been through to get to this stage, what would winning the Super Bowl mean for Sam Darnold?
It would mean a lot in terms of the context of that draft class and where he was selected. Number 3 overall pick, just like Drake May. Sam Darnold struggled with the Jets. It says a lot about where you get drafted, by the way, and who your coach is, because, you look at Baker Mayfield bouncing around and then finding great success in Tampa Bay. But the first guy to make it to the Super Bowl in this draft class is one of the wildest stats out there. I think if Sam Darnold won this Super Bowl with the Seahawks, and you go around and just look at his record, look at his record when after he leaves the Panthers and the Panthers stink, he leaves the Vikings stink. His record's great. He maybe Sam Darnold's a winner, and maybe it's not the Jets, maybe it's not Sam Darnold, maybe it was the Jets all along that caused Sam Darnold not to be good. I think it wouldn't vault him into the conversation with Lamar and Josh Allen, but it would at least put him right there with Baker Mayfield in that second tier that's kind of nipping at the heels of those two potential all-time greats.
And you got to put respect on his name. I mean, he's done it in Minnesota, then he just did it here in Seattle. And if he wins it, man, he becomes this era's version of Jim Plunkett, who was drafted by the Patriots, didn't do well out there, and then he found his way on that Los Angeles Raiders team and got himself a Super Bowl. So now it's like, wow, Jim Plunkett was actually a really good quarterback. It just didn't work out for him with the Patriots. Just like Sam Darnold, it just didn't work out for him in those 17 teams he played for prior to getting to Minnesota and also now Seattle. So if he's able to win this ball game in a way that he has played in the postseason, I think he's become more of an asset than a liability. So if he goes out there and wins, it shows you what we saw last year in Minnesota in the regular season wasn't an anomaly, and what we saw in the postseason was the anomaly in Minnesota. And now it's more of a sign of things to come, and you have to be excited for him and excited for the Seahawks because they won the trade between them getting rid of Geno Smith and bringing in Sam Darnold.
It's like what a difference. I know we know this. It's like what a difference the right scenery, the right coaching, having a great defense can do for a quarterback. But all in all, I feel like this conversation is just continuously giving the Jets L's. I'm sorry, Jets. All right, yeah. Fellas, appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you so much. Well, Patriots Seahawks marks the 10th Super Bowl rematch in NFL history. And get this, the winner of the first game is 6-3 in the second meeting. Super Bowl 60 kicks off Sunday at 6:30 Eastern from Santa Clara, California.